I'm just going to wait a few seconds here. Let's see, there's somebody here. Let's see if we can get 2 or 3 more people in before I sort of start off. If you can hear me, if anyone out there and you can hear me, please let me know in the chat so I know I'm not talking to myself. There's a thumbs up there, so I'm guessing sounds good. Thank you very much. That's what I needed to hear. You never know, when you start these things off, is everything working okay? So it's always nice for somebody to sort of respond, yes, I can hear you. So anyway, let's get this show on the road. I don't want it to be about me all nice and everything like that. It can be about you as well, you guys out there. And I've got a couple of little things to show you as we go along. I was just sort of waiting on with people coming in here quite nicely. I just see. I'm sorry, I have to leave. I have to lean forward to do this because I'm blind as a bat. Beer. Well, actually, I've got something for you guys to do to start off with. I have here a bottle of Goose Island Bourbon County Stout. And I have here a bottle of Goose Island Bourbon County Cherry Stout. So, if in the comments section you can either type cherry or just stout, I will know the difference then, just cherry or stout, and I will open that one up tonight. It won't be both of them. The reason being is I've been saving these and having one bottle on my anniversary every year. I've got 2 left. I thought I only had one, but I found another one. So I have another one to do next year. So what have we got here? We've got cherry coming up there. I've got normal stout. So I've got 1 normal, 2 cherry, 2 normal. Looks like I'm going to have to make the decision here if it's going to stay 2-2. Right, well, before we open those up, and while perhaps somebody else might put one in there so it can not be even, I'm going to put those to one side for a second. And I require this box that's turned up from Amazon. From one of you great guys that's in the chat tonight, Mark. Now, I've got to get into the box, of course. So I've got some equipment here. I'm going to just shove that down so you can see the box. I've got scissors. I've got a utility knife. And just in case it gets really tricky to get into the box, I've got my chainsaw ready as well. I'm hoping not to have to use the chainsaw, but yeah, I think we'll put that to one side. I think that's what Jeremy Clarkson would use. So here we go. Utility knife. I've had this for over a week and I haven't opened it. I think that's rather good of me. The original tape's still on here. Here we go. Retract the blades because I don't want to cut myself later. So it's difficult to show what's going on here. I'm going to take this out the way now, the box. And this is what we have inside. It's not actually what I thought I was getting. This is a John Smith's glass. And I thought the picture said it was a Goose Island glass. But oh well. Things happen, don't they? So I have a John Smith's glass. I'll tell you what I do have though. I'll tell you what, this is a great gift all the same, but as I'm having the Goose Island drink tonight, I found in my cupboard, I'll be right back, save me having to wash that one up before I use it. I have here somewhere, I'm tripping over the chainsaw now, trying to get up. Well, I brought this one back from the US with me. This is a Goose Island glass. And some people say it sort of goes along to see so you see that. It's a beer from Goose Island that is called Old Man Grumpy. Some people say that's me down to a T, which is a pale ale they make, by the way. I'm just going to read what's going on here. I thought it was supposed to be Goose Island. Trevor's heading for a nasty accident. Oh, what was a chainsaw, right? I will come back to some questions in a moment about that. But first of all, I'm going to get this bottle opened up. And how did we end up on the cherries and stouts? We've got 1, 2, 3 cherries. 1, 2, 3 stouts. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll toss a coin for it. I'll find a coin. I have a rather old dirty 2p piece here. And I'm going to just move the glass out of the way for a moment. I'll tilt this down, see if we can see it on the table here. Right, here goes. Oh, I didn't say anything. Heads, cherry, tails, stout. That's the tail of the feathers. Oh, I'm not going to turn it over so you can see it. It is heads. Can you see it there? No, probably can't now. I've just brought up a screen across my thing. I just touched everything here. Everything's gone weird. What am I doing here? Leave site, no, cancel. Right, that is a head. So it's a head. What did I say the head was? I've forgotten. Cherry, wasn't it? So the cherry it is. Bottled in 2019. So a Guinness bottle opener, which actually came back from America as well. I just hope it doesn't go everywhere all over my laptop. Taking it easy. Didn't. Cool. Smells good. So we're going to put it into the Goose Island. It saves me going to wash the other glass up first. So we're going to pour it in here. Let's see what we've got. This is a 16-ounce American pint glass, so this must be a 16-ounce bottle. I'm not going to put it. There's a dribble left in there, but let's take a sip. Cheers, everybody. Good health. Wow. I'd forgotten how good that was. I have had this before. 3 years ago when I was in the US, or possibly near 4. That is absolutely excellent. That should fit in there now. Whoops. Didn't want to go in there, did it? It says volume 1 pint. Oh well. Perhaps the glass is on the small side. Let's put that over there. I'm going to have another sip of that. Now, I should tell you how that tastes, shouldn't I? Well, for a beer now, which was made in, let's say it was, it just says 2019 on there. Just see it on there, 2019. That has matured very, very, very well. I know if you drink this when it's first bottled, you can taste the bourbon in it quite heftily. It's quite pronounced flavour, and it really does come through quite strong. Now that's just mellowed into that stout, and it's just one gorgeous, gorgeous drink. Well, I'm going to put that to one side because, by the way, it is 14.1% alcohol. So it's like drinking a fairly good, strong wine. I'm just going to move this out of the way because I need to catch up with your comments. Oh, Jordan's there. Hi, Jordan, Dave, and Chris, and Slurpy Dave, and Trevor Barkin Mad, John Harvey. Hello, John. Welcome from the US, and also the Schwartz there. That's Mark. Mark. So I'm terrible with names. You're in the US as well. So thank you for joining me at this time of the day. Team Cherry. Trev can drink no-handed. Yeah, he can actually. Slurped it out. Thank you very much. Yes, 3 years made it. Happy 3rd anniversary and good luck. Right, I think I've got through all the comments there. I was just making sure there because if I've missed anybody out, I apologise. It's just not always easy to catch. As you probably know, I have to put these on just to have half a chance reading it these days. But somebody a few years ago could have read that from a mile away. Well, not quite true, but you know what I mean. Right, yes, I've been on the boat 3 years. 3 very happy years. I was actually talking to a friend of mine, I think it was Steve I was talking to about this the other day. It was either Steve or it was John. I actually said, I've been 3 years on the boat and it's probably the best 3 years of my entire life. Probably the poorest 3 years of my entire life. But you know what? Money doesn't make you happy. And this lifestyle is amazing. It's the most amazing lifestyle there is in the world. It's probably a bit like living in a log cabin in the middle of the mountains, the Appalachians or somewhere like that for my friends in the US, in a log cabin, but you can move it every day if you want to. I can have the luxury of going to town and do my shopping, or I can be in the wilderness, absolutely loving every minute of it. Waking up, seeing deer, and whatever is around when you wake up in the middle of nowhere. It's I've just seen some Central Arizona. Yeah, we've got Central. I'm sorry, Willie, I missed you out. Central Arizona. Get where everybody's from. The best moment and the worst moment. Well, I don't know. Are there really any worse moments, or just moments that you have to get around and sort out? Probably the most exciting moment. Excuse me, I've got an itch. Probably the most exciting moment was sitting on my laptop, tapping away, transferring the money from my bank account into the person's bank account I bought the boat off of, thinking it's now mine. And that was a great feeling, I can assure you. Unbelievable feeling. Now, if you want to go onto the boating side of it, I've definitely got an itchy nose here. Oh, gee whiz. I must have, when I shaved, perhaps I got some shaving cream up my nose or something that's made me itchy. Um, on the boating side, probably the worst moment for me on the boating side was one day when I got up and I had no electric. That's a bit of a scary moment where the engine won't start, nothing would start, and all the electrics completely on the boat were dead, and I couldn't find out why. I was putting the meter across everywhere, and everything was just. But it seemed like there was electric there, but nothing would work. And I found it was one of the bus bars had actually gone down, so I was getting power to the. It was the negative bus bar had gone down, so I was getting power to it. So every time I touched onto it, I'd get power across everywhere, but it was broken inside, so it wasn't going anywhere. Um, so I actually replaced both the negative and the positive bus bar at that point in time. And that was shortly after I bought the boat, actually. I've been on the boat it was during the first lockdown, that's when I actually did that. But it's fixed, so that's good. And I've never had a problem with the electric since, except for replacing the batteries, but it's going to happen ever so often anyway. Yeah. Oh, gee whiz. I don't know what's up here. Sorry, guys. Someone put itching powder on my handkerchief or something. It's a joke. Sorry, I better catch up here again because I'm terrible for reading comments. Right, a few things. I did actually. Well, I tell you what. One of the most exciting moments is probably always going to be um, going over some of the huge aqueducts, and I never get the pronunciation right. But the big one in Wales, the Pontycyllite, or whatever it's called, Pontycyllite Aqueduct. I can never pronounce it correctly, but you know the one I mean. It terrifies me actually. I don't like heights. I'll, whenever I go across, if I'm going, which would be west, I'm guessing, across it from the start, I'll always stand on the right hand side of the boat and I'll steer with my left hand, which is normal for me because I am left handed. When I come back the other way, I will stand on the left hand side of the boat and steer with my right hand. So I'm always on the towpath side. I can't stand on the edge side and just look over that little 4-inch gap, and that's what's between you and the 120-foot drop. Yeah, that doesn't work for me. So it's probably one of the most exciting things for me because I'm not a big fan of heights. Never have been, never will be. Although as a kid I used to fall out of trees, I guess, but that's probably why I don't like them anymore. Where are we going down here? Right. What is a big challenge for you in the year ahead? I need to get some money into my bank account. I've overspent. So for the year ahead, this is why cruising is going to be held up for a while. I'm trying to get a job. Well, I thought I had one, and now they're saying they've got to go somewhere else and check it out and check this out. So I still think I've got a job lined up, and I'm quite looking forward to actually doing it. It's a simple job in a marina. It'll be basically cleaning boats. So a simple job, but it'll bring some pennies into the coffers again, which I desperately need. Uh, to be honest with you, I'm going to have to swap over this year from paying for my license for the whole year, which I've always done the previous years. This year, I'm going to have to pay monthly. I don't have enough money in the bank to pay for my license this year, so for an outright year, so I'm going to go monthly, and especially to start off with. An actual fact behind that force as well, because if you want to get us a gold license, you have to buy a gold license which starts on January the 1st. It only runs January the 1st to December the 31st. You can't get it any other month during the year. And next year, I'm thinking about swapping over to the gold license. I know if I got the gold license in January that you can get your money back for the months you haven't used, but it's all backwards and forwards. You have to pay up front and then get your money back and all this. So I thought if I pay monthly for this year for 9 months, because it's due on April the 1st, so I pay for 9 months monthly, and then hopefully I've got enough money next year to put down and get a gold license. The gold license is about £200 a year more than the standard license, and then I will take you onto some of the rivers, like the River Thames. And I want to go down the River Thames. I'd like to go down onto the Way Navigation and onto the Basingstoke Canal. Basingstoke is basically my hometown. I lived there for years and years and years. I was born in Winchester, but I worked and lived in Basingstoke for years. Although the canal doesn't actually go all the way to Basingstoke at the moment, it goes to Odium, and I know that stretch so well. I used to fish it all the time. So I'd really like to go down onto the Basingstoke Canal and just reminisce basically. So with a gold license, I won't have to pay any extra to go onto these canals and rivers. And for me to go onto the, if I go onto the River Thames, and the other one I want to go onto is the Kennet and Avon, which is CRT. But to get from the Thames to the Kennet and Avon, and if I was like, you can get a week's license, but I'd need a week's license to get there, which only takes a day, by the way. And then when I come back round, because I'm not going to go up the tidal 7, I'd have to come back that way, and I'd have to buy the week's license again. I see there's lots of things popping up here. I must go across. Oh, thank you very much, Wooly. Yes, and I know you are supporting the channel already. Absolutely brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. I don't know, there's some way I can put this mark this comment in, but I don't know how to do it. No, don't know. And clicked on it. It says go to channel, report, remove. I don't want to do any of that, do I? Put user and timer. I don't want to do that. Hide user. No, I don't want to do that. No, add as moderator. Well, you wouldn't want me to do that, so I'm just going to click out of it. Everyone can see it there. I know there's some way you can click it and bring it across so it shows on the screen, but yeah, I'm not good enough at it. Sorry, guys. Right. So that's my challenge really for this year, is to get some money into the coffers and then get cruising. Yeah, it's very close to the edge. The coffer's only about 6 inches wider than the boat when you go across the aqueduct, and it's got, I don't know, a cast iron trough. The lip at the top's about 4 or 5 inches wide, and which is below gunwale level. It's just above water level. It's about that far above water level. It certainly wouldn't pass health and safety. Okay, it certainly would be not there. If I lost you there for a second, it came up. My connection was unstable, but it disappeared. So I hope I stayed with you there. I have noticed the mooring I'm in tonight is not the greatest of moorings for internet. It's fantastic all day long. I kept checking it, and then this evening it was nowhere near as good. It's I'm hoping to. I am definitely hoping to do some filming at work. Say I haven't been offered the job. I thought I was offered the job, and then they said, "Oh, we've got to check with head office first." So anyway, we'll see what happens. I just hope I've got it. I could do with it. If not, I'm gonna have to start looking again. Yeah, I just got to get some money back into the finance, and I need a few things done on the boat. I could do with taking the boat out of the water and having it blacked this year. But at this moment in time, there's absolutely no chance of that happening. So I've got to try and sort a few things out. What do you do, George? I would work with you. Oh, do you know? There's very, very little cherry sort of taste to that. There's a little bit of a tartness in there, but you wouldn't really call it cherry, not anymore. When I tried this once before, I thought it actually tasted quite like cherry, but the whole thing's mellowed out now into sort of one just very alcoholic drink. By the end of this live stream, if I keep drinking this, I'm not going to be able to talk properly. Let's put it down. I probably will. Well, that's an opportunity possibly I could do. The only problem is getting to a warehouse. Of course, I only have my legs, so I'm always stuck working for a distance where I can walk to, not having a car or other transport except for the boats these days, which I absolutely adore. I don't know. I was on about the super thanks. So I really thank you, Wally, for your super thanks, and everybody else can see it in the chat. I know. So a big thank you goes out to that super thanks. It really, really, really does go a long way. It, it's just when I bought this. Well, actually, I bought these beers when I was in the US, and I got them really, really reasonable. But these super things at one point in time were selling for like $35 a bottle. Yeah, I didn't pay that for them. Right. Anyone else got any other questions? Right. So anyway, I'm going to need to work probably for at least half the summer, if not more, to get just enough money to get together so I can get through to I retire properly next year. And that's what I need is just to make sure if it hadn't been for the cost of diesel going through the roof, I wouldn't have had this problem. But when diesel basically tripled in price in a few weeks, it really, really did just, well, it just made a big difference to me and what money I had and everything, any money I had coming in, money I get in from YouTube. But I thank everybody that helps me out through Patreon and through PayPal and all that. PayPal's great because through PayPal I get what you give me. Through Patreon, they take their cuts, and from on YouTube and all that, they take their cuts. So PayPal, of course, you get everything. So, but everything is absolutely fantastic, and I love getting it. I really, really appreciate every single penny you guys give me. It goes an awful long way for me putting diesel in my tank a month. I can assure you, which I try to top up once a month just because. Well, otherwise, it's got a huge diesel tank on here, and I'm guessing if it was empty, it would cost over £500 to fill up, which is more than I spend every month, more than money than I have to spend in a month. I have more like £400 a month to spend, so less than that some months. This nose is really, really annoying me tonight, but we'll continue. Why not scroll down there? Just checking there's nothing else in there. Oh, boycott PayPal. Yeah, I understand people boycotting PayPal. Really do, because I what they did to some of the. I watch. I do watch boating channels out there. Don't get me wrong. I watch most of the boating channels that go on there. But I know about them. I don't watch. I just don't have the time. Obviously have to do other things. But I know about most people. I do watch other things as well. And when you saw PayPal stopping people like Toby Young, freezing his account and basically stealing his money in there at one point in time, and some other groups because they didn't go along with the narrative, shall we say. I'm not going to say too much more on that because YouTube is still quite funny on what you say on here, and injectable didn't do what it said on the tin, they don't like you still talking about it. So I'm not going to, but I have quite strong opinions about that. So it's just Trevor's Mild. Well, it was quite odd actually because I was one of their first early customers in Riverhawk Run. I think they opened on the Saturday or something, or Friday, and I went in there on the Saturday. So I was one of their very, very first customers in Riverhawk Brewing in Shanahan, Illinois. And I got chatting with the owners of the brewery the first day I went in there. Well, they were actually serving at the time. They didn't have any particular bar staff. I think one of their wives was helping, and I think all their wives were helping actually, and they were basically doing everything. They did employ a brewer, although I believe they changed their brewer just after I left there. Um, Ian was their brewer, their head brewer, and he learnt his trade here in the UK and across in Germany and Belgium, I believe. He was actually, I think, in the Feekstons brewery over here. So anyway, we was talking in there one day, and the funny thing was, every time I went in there, if they had a new beer on, because for some reason they thought because I'm English, I knew all about beer. Well, okay, I do have a little bit of knowledge about beer. I like beer, and especially beers like this. They'd get me to try them. So I'd walk in, and then so I'd walk in, and then it'd be Dustin would come up to me, one of the owners, or Tom, or whoever. Trev, have you tried this one? And I'd try it. Oh yeah, that's and I'd know I normally know the style of the beer and tell them what it was. So anyway, he's got this, and the amount of times I go in there, and I'd end up by well, because if I was driving, I'd only have sort of a couple and have to leave. What is that with this itchy nose? So anyway, we're chatting about different beers and different styles, and I was talking to Dustin, one of the owners at the time. He said, "Trevor, I want to come up with a beer that's not too strong. That's a bit of a session beer, but I don't want it to be weak and wishy-washy." I said, "Well, in that case, you've got to put a mild on." I said, "A mild, it's a dark beer, or darkish, pretty dark, and it's got all the flavours, but it's low alcohol, somewhere between 3 and 4% normally a mild runs at." He said, "I've never heard of it." I said, "Well, Ian would have done. If he's worked for Feekstons, he would know what a mild is because Feekstons make a mild." And he says, "Well, I don't know about that. We've got a couple of dark beers. I don't think we want another dark beer." I said, "Well, fair enough. You asked for my opinion. I told you." And I went in there I used to go in there about once a month, I guess. There was a little drive from where I lived, so it wasn't a case of doing the drive. It was a case of doing the drive home, if you know what I mean. So anyway, I was in there one day, and I walked in, and Dustin was there. He goes, "I'm just about to put a new drink on the tap." He said, "Would you like to try it first?" So before I tap it, would you like to try it? I said, "Of course I would. Of course I'd love to try it." So he goes out the back because it's not through to the tapper yet. It still comes straight out there, holding tanks or whatever it is. He goes out the back and he pours it into a glass and brings it round, puts it on the table. And I take one look at it, and I'm pretty sure I know what it is just by the look of it. I also, and and uh, and I said, "Oh, a mild." And he looked at me. No, no, no. He said, try it first." So I take a sip, and I goes, "Well, yeah, a mild." I said, "Not a bad mild either. That's a pretty darn good mild." And he said, "It should be. It's the recipe Ian stole from Feekstons." Or they said he could use, I believe, anyway. But it was Feekstons mild, basically. He had made same recipe. So it was a good mild. It was a good English style mild. So anyway, he goes, "We haven't got a name for this yet." I said, "Oh, what are you going to think about calling it? He said, well, he said, as you like it, could we call it Trevor's Mild? I said, really? He said, yeah. He said, it was your idea. And he said, we're going to advertise it as an English mild, and we'll tell everybody the story about an Englishman told us about making this mild, so we called it after him, Trevor's Mild. So that's the story of getting a beer named after me in Riverhawk Brewing. Unfortunately, Riverhawk Brewing are no longer brewing. I believe they went under back at the tail end of last year. I think a lot of the lockdowns and all didn't help them out when they were closed for weeks on end. So anyway, yes, they're no longer there. This is my story about Trevor's Mild. They were going to fine $1,500. I don't know anything about that, were they? Why were they going to be? I assume they were going to be fined $1,500. Can you elaborate on that at all? Yeah, fix the old peculiar. That's very, very good. I actually had the fix and old peculiar not very long ago. I met some friends in Coventry Basin, and we walked up to the Weatherspoons pub and had a beer, and they had Figston's Old Peculiar on then, and I had a couple of them then. What's my favourite beer? I don't really have a favourite beer. I have more of a favourite style of beers. I love stouts and porters. I love dark beers, and a lot of these microbreweries or that make a lot of these dark beers make some phenomenal ones. They're dance like better than the big breweries, and yeah, I'm really into. This is why I've got these. I like dark beers the best. And a lot of people that know me, I don't like lager. Never been, never will be. Um, I drink. I don't mind. Going back in the day when I was young, I used to drink Best Bitter, which basically these days is called Ruby Red. The Ruby Red and the Best Bitter really are. Most of them are basically the same thing. They just made a fancier name out of it, I guess. I guess being called a bitter it wasn't very trendy. So, um, yeah, most red ales are really their bitters. Yeah, I was brought up really on living down in Hampshire. Courage is in Berkshire, just across the border there at Reading. So Courage's brewery were big in Hampshire. So Courage Best Bitter, I drank a lot of. And a few other ones from the local breweries. Spitfire, I drank a few of them. There was a brewery in Alton, I can't remember the name of it now. I drank quite a lot of their local beers, but a lot of it was bitter, um, occasionally pale ale. And if I could get a proper English style IPA, that I really do like a good proper English style IPA. Most of the IPAs we now get in the UK are American style IPAs. They're a lot paler in colour, and they're a lot hoppier. And they use a lot of the American hops, and they're fresh hopped rather than dried hop. So they give a lot more citrusy, piney sort of flavour to them. Where the old English IPAs. One of my old favourite IPAs was called Dr. Duncan's IPA. And it was probably the best IPA I've ever drunk in my entire life. I've never seen it since, to be honest with you. That was when I would have been in my mid-20s. Probably the best IPA I've ever drunk in my entire life. And that was dry hopped. And it was phenomenal. And when he was up around Burton upon Trent, of course, when I was on the boat years ago with friends, there's always a good IPA up around there. Burton L's made a good IPA. All the breweries around there, I think Bastard did them, and Marston's. I think they all did their own IPAs, which were all really, really good. But yeah, good IPA or a good dark beer. As I say, I love dark beers. Hello from Spain, David. Do I have a favourite American beer? Actually, I'll tell you what my favourite American beer is. And it's from Pollyanna Brewery, which is... I'm trying to think where it is now. Anyway, doesn't matter where it is. And they had a stout in there, and I'm trying to think the name of it. And that was probably my favourite go-to beer. And they did a few variations of it as well. They'd put different things in it. Sometimes they did a Snickers variation. They did a marshmallow variation. Although I found those a little sweet, I could do sort of one, not two. But their standard stout in there was absolutely phenomenal, and I can't think for the life of me what it's called. My friend Carl was around at the moment. He would tell you. He and I had drank a few there. Actually, we drank a lot there. I thought Carl might be on here. Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, Corona's definitely not my thing. Yeah. I'll leave it there with the Corona. A lot of my friends drink Corona, so yeah, I know people that drink Corona. It's just each their own. If we all like the same beer, there wouldn't be enough of it for me to drink, would there? Yeah. So yeah. Say it's just as well we all got different tastes. It's like if we all only ate steak, there would be a problem with getting enough cows, wouldn't there? And so we all drank the same beer, there'd be a problem getting enough ingredients to make that beer. Oh, the boat is named Albertine, and I've never changed it. It was the name of the boats when I bought it. And I did think about changing the name of the boats when I bought it. And then I Googled Albertine because for some reason I wondered what it meant. I didn't know, but I should have remembered because I think I'd come across it before. It's actually a name of a very, very pretty pink rambling rose. And I think we had one actually, or I knew of one growing where I lived at one point in time in Bullington. And it's a beautiful rose. And yeah, I decided not to change the name. I thought, well, it's a beautiful rambling rose, and it also means, and if you go back in history a bit, I think it means noble or something like that. So noble and rose, yeah, noble rose, yeah, that'll do me. So the name stays, and I don't think I've ever come across another boat on the cut called Albertine. Oh, I assume why it's called Albertine as well. By the way, this is an ex-Rose's narrowboat hire company boat, so I guess it was named Albertine after a rose because it was Rose's boats. And a lot of their other boats have rose names, so I assume that's what it is, especially their older boats do. So that's where I believe it came from. Well, they named it after a rose because it was Rose's boats, and it's going to stay. I'm not going to change it. I think it's quite unique. As I say, I've never seen another boat on the network called Albertine, so it can stay. There's some boat names I've thought about in the past. I see hundreds of them. So, a bit of a Pink Floyd fan, and I did think about calling the boat Comfortably Numb at one point in time, but you see one every other day, so I decided not to do it. Where were you? Oh, sorry, yeah, I forgot to mention Sierra Nevada. I don't know Kilt Lifter, but I have drunk some Sierra Nevada beers. They do one called Steam or something like that. Steam, Steam. Rings a bell from Sierra Nevada. No, that was very drinkable. Can't remember its name though. Something Steam, I think it was called. I'm terrible at names, so I always forget names. I forget my own sometimes. One thing about when you have very, very strong beer, you can't guzzle it down. It does taste good. It's just well, there's no straws poking out of my laptop, isn't there? Here, you'll be poking straws out of my laptop and trying to pinch some. Is it really? I didn't know that. For spring, I really don't have much in the way of travelling plans at the moment for spring. A few reasons actually. Reason number one is I'm trying to get a job, and I need to work, and I'll probably have to stay local. I've been trying to get a job online and doing work from the boat, but that hasn't happened. So I'm going to have to get a job on land and probably stay around for 6 months, possibly working. I need to get some money. So cruising plans, but up to that point in time, the reason I haven't been moving much recently as well, it's my parents' blue sapphire wedding anniversary on the 5th of April, which is 65 years they've been married. And on the 1st of April, they're having a bit of a party, a get together. It's a luncheon, basically, in a hotel or whatever, somewhere, which of course I've been invited to. I say of course, perhaps it's not of course, but I've been invited to anyway. So I want to go there. And by hanging around the area I'm in at the moment, my niece, that's my brother's daughter, of course, lives in Coventry, and she will give me a lift from Coventry to the party at Wellingborough. So I'm hanging around this area, and I need to be Coventry area for the 1st of April, where she'll come and pick me up and take me there. So that's the reason why I'm in this area and hanging around, or was planning, and obviously now I'm planning and I've been looking at trying to get a job as well. So no movement really. I've up and down the same bit of canal for a few weeks until then, definitely. And if this job comes up, it'll be for a bit longer than then, definitely. And so I can get enough money in the coffers and carry on cruising. It's probably going to be most of the summer. I think I'm probably going to be working. So it's going to be probably autumn time. And when it does get here, when I do carry on cruising, I'm going to cruise right through the winter this year as much as I can. I'm going to go for all the stoppages, all the lock stoppages, and try and work a plan out where I can keep going and do a proper winter cruise this year. I might even go back over some old territories. I might have to just to go where the canals are open. But yeah, I did think about originally. I was thinking about doing the Llangollen in winter. I know a lot of people do it in the winter because it doesn't freeze up so much because of the running water. I did think about doing that this winter coming up, but I don't know yet. Wouldn't mind being up on the Leeds and Liverpool. Oh, gee, I'm getting annoyed now. But yeah, anyway, as most of you probably know, I don't really make plans, particularly in concrete. Things always have to change when you live on a boat. I'll put these back on. I might better read what it says. A couple of good microbreweries. Yeah, there's some really good ones around in the US. I visited a lot when I was over there, and nearly all of them made some really good beers. And the same's happening over here now because microbreweries have got quite popular over here as well. And there's some real good ones coming out from all over the place. They really are giving what I call the big boys a run for their money when it comes to beer. Definitely quality. They're definitely the quality. They may not have the quantity they push out, but they definitely have the quality. If you're looking for a good beer rather than just lots of it, the microbreweries are probably the way to go. Although saying that, Goose Island's not exactly a microbrewery anymore, and they still make some good beers. And Lagunitas as well, up in Chicago, they make some really good beers as well. Been to both of the breweries up there, by the way. Lagunitas made a mild, and it was called Working Man, and that was a very, very good mild. But I think it was they just did it as a one-off. I don't know if they brought it back at all. Um, I went into the brewery up there and spoke around and tried to find out, and they basically just did it as a one-off. So that was a bit disappointing. That was a really good mild they made. I was talking about milds earlier. As anyways, yeah, dark beers, I love them. Oh, dear, I'm getting really, really. I don't know what's up with my bloody nose here. It's like someone's put itching powder all over it. I don't know. I had a different shaving gel tonight when I shaved. I wonder if I've got some allergies to it. It's making me itch. I don't know. I bought it because the one I normally buy they didn't have in the store. Like everything now in the stores, they don't seem to have anything you used to buy, do they? Not even potatoes. No, I don't know. I didn't buy potatoes the day earlier on. I just went down the store because I knew I needed to get some shaving gel. So I thought I'd better shave tonight before going live stream. Right, do any more of you great people out there have any more questions for me? As I say, I'm quite happy to talk about almost anything. There's a few things I won't discuss, and that's only because YouTube will probably ban me if I do. And there's no fun in that, is there? Well, the best way for me personally to contribute to my channel, good because I get every penny, is through PayPal. Uh, Obviously, you can, if you want to become a Patreon or a channel member, um, that I don't get me wrong. However you contribute, I'm really, really grateful for. But for me to get every penny of a contribution is through PayPal because if we do it as family and friends, it just comes through as the whole lot. So I do have two accounts in PayPal. One is obviously just set up as me as do as family and friends, but I also have a business account because I was trying to sell photographs and pictures, which I still do the odd one or two, but it certainly is no business. I can't make enough doing it as a business, and it just about covers my costs. But that's a business account, so I do pay on that account to get my money through. They charge me 1.5% or whatever it is, so it's still nothing like what YouTube charge you. YouTube charge you take 30% of the cutting, 30% of your whatever anyone gives me on YouTube, and Patreon is 20 odd percent, I think. So it's definitely PayPal is the way for me personally. But if you can't do PayPal and you can do a channel subscription or you can do Patreon, that's absolutely fantastic as well. I appreciate every single penny everybody gives me, no matter what and how way, whichever way they use to give it to me. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah, a bit more state. Probably go red. Actually, wash it in there. It's embarrassing when you're sitting there and you can't stop itching your nose. Well, not if I get really embarrassed, so I don't have to worry about that. Too old in the tooth to get embarrassed these days. People try to embarrass me sometimes and it doesn't work. Just take life as it is. That's one of the, I think that's one of the great reasons for people like me being on a narrowboat. I'm more than happy to just take life as it is. And the simple things in life are absolutely brilliant. And my friend Steve was here. He's actually in my next video on Saturday. He's actually here, and he's just moved on today. And it was his birthday a few days ago. And I have no money, so giving him a present or something is rather difficult for me. But what I can do is, because I collect my own firewood and all that sort of thing, I give him a big carrier bag full of logs, which I split up and give to him. Well, it's my birthday. I'll just be popping it away for 2 seconds. It's my birthday on the 24th of March, coming up. And he gave me this. It's not honey. It says honey on there. It's something he's made himself. And I think he said it's in gin. And it's plums and various other elderberries and various fruits. These picked along the cut and preserved. Now that sort of gift to me, it's so meaningful when you do something that like that. It's put the effort into doing that to make it. And I find gifts like that, they're just so meaningful, aren't they? People these days have become so orientated on possessions, but it's things like that that I find make or mean a lot more to me than a fancy car or something like that these days. Well, say a fancy car. I don't even have a car. Can I put a link to my PayPal? Let's go across to here. I hope I can get back to you. Right. I think you can probably still see me. I just can't see the page. I'm playing around on my computer. If I go to content and I go to edit the video here, support the channel, Patreon or PayPal. Yep. Stop. Copy. Back to the live stream. Paste. That should be it. If not, it's in all of my videos, in the description box of all of my videos. It's in them all. I've just copied and pasted that out of there, so it should be correct. Got to love and leave you as I got work tomorrow. Take care and happy 3 years, Trev. Thanks, Jordan. Great chat. Great to see you in here tonight, and thank you for joining me. It's been great seeing you. And I might just, if you talk about a job, if this doesn't work out, I might be chatting to you about that. I'll talk to Pete, and Pete will have your number or something to contact you, won't he? I assume. But I just realised, just looking at the clock over there, been doing this for an hour already. 2100. Yeah, the laptop says 2100. Just checking the clock was right. I thought it'd been about 20 minutes. It's already been an hour. Wow. You do keep me chatting, you guys. Well, as it's been an hour, and unless anyone else has got any more questions, I will wind this. Oh, I'll tell you one thing I will tell you all. My next beer stream. I know it's been quite popular. My beer stream, a lot of people enjoyed it, and my next beer stream is going to be on dark beers. Not quite this one though. This one was I'm only having the one tonight, but I've already been collecting a couple up. I've got a couple of different porters in the fridge already. This I didn't put in the fridge. This has come straight out of the bottom of the cupboard because I know damn well when you drink beers like this, you should treat it like a red wine. It needs really to be at room temperature to get all the flavour out of it. I know a lot of my American friends probably don't agree with me, but sorry, you're wrong. Lagers have to be drunk very, very cold. If you drink a lager warm, they taste horrible. Great ales like this, with a lot of alcohol in, it's like drinking a red wine. You want to be able to taste all the flavours, and you don't want the tannins to really affect the beer, which they would do if you drink it cold. This basically is same classification as a red wine. Good. Yeah. So anyway, what was I going to say? Yeah. So I'm going to do another live stream, and I think I'm going to do it on my birthday, the 24th of March. So it will be on. I'll have 3 different dark beers. At the moment, I've got two porters. Now I'm not sure if I'm going to just get another porter and do 3 porters, and just have a porter night just on the porters, and then perhaps do stouts at another time, or get a stout and do just 3 different dark beers. I think, I think I'm going to just do porters. So I think I'm going to have 3 different porters. One of the styles of beers I really, really like, as you probably know. And as it's my birthday, I think I'm going to do 3 porters. So, yeah, looking forward to that. So it's going to be the 24th of March will be the next live stream. And I'll be doing it at 8 o'clock. I don't even know what day of the week the 24th of March is. I haven't looked it up. I just thought about it earlier on today. I was thinking about when should I do my next beer stream. As I'm doing a live stream tonight, I thought, well, it's about a month's time. It's the 22nd today, I believe, is my 3rd anniversary. If it's not the 22nd today, I've got the day wrong. So anyway, so it's going to be the 24th of March, my next live stream, and unless I do one in between, but I don't think I will be, and it'll be a beer stream. I might as well have a few beers on my birthday, hadn't I? It's the only time I can afford to buy them these days. So I'm going to sort of say good night to you all. I really appreciate you all joining in and coming in tonight. And if you could just click that old thumbs up on your way out, that really does help the old algorithm, I'm told, to promote the channel. Thank you very much. I know, it's always a job to know what to say sometimes without repeating yourself too much. And that's a word you shouldn't ever be using, is it? I always try and cut all the ums out when I edit a video. When you're editing on, you go because you can't think what to say next. I'll go through and I'll edit that. I'll slip it out, try and take all the ums out. Can't always do it because sometimes it's a bit too close together. But yeah, I try and take the ums out because I think ums and ahs and ers shouldn't be in a video. But that's the only editing I normally do on most of it, or unless I say something completely and utterly badly and wrong, and I just repeat myself and say it again. But I don't like doing a lot of editing. I don't mind doing the editing. What I don't like doing is changing the context of the video by not saying what you wanted to say in the first place. I try not to script anything. Although the video that's coming out on Saturday, that's nearly all speech over on that because it was such a noisy day, and you'll know why when you see it. I've reduced the volume of the background noise, and it's all talk over on it because it's the only way I could do it. But it's I thought it was a little bit interesting, a little bit different. But it took part here in Atherstone, where I'm moored at the moment, yesterday on Shrove Tuesday. Hello, Hank the Frank. I was just saying good night to everybody, Hank. But welcome aboard and welcome in. I've been running for an hour or just over an hour now, and I've run out of things to chat about, and my beer's getting cold. That's going to take me another. But I've drunk that much in an hour, guys. That means I'm going to have to sit up for another 2 hours just to finish my beer. Well, it's like drinking a bottle of wine, isn't it? So definitely going this time, and of course, I will end my live stream the same way as I end my videos. Thank you very much for watching. Trevor out. There's a button here somewhere that says end stream. There it is.